Hey guys, tonight we're stepping into something that might feel all too familiar. A restless storm of thoughts swirling inside your head, refusing to quiet down. Overthinking can be like trying to sleep next to a marching band. It drowns out the stillness you crave, and the more you resist, the louder it seems to get. You can feel trapped between regrets of yesterday and worries about tomorrow, as if your mind has forgotten how to just breathe in the calm of right now. If you've ever lain awake staring at the ceiling, thinking you might not survive another night of this mental chaos, you're not alone. The good news? Ancient Buddhist wisdom has been pointing us toward peace for centuries. Tonight, we'll explore 6 timeless teachings that can help untangle that endless web of thoughts, guiding you back into balance, stillness, and inner ease. Before we begin, take a moment to drop a comment with your city and the local time right now. I'd love to see where and when you're tuning in from. And of course, feel free to like the video and subscribe, but only if you truly enjoy what I do here. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. 1. Live in the present moment. Picture this. You're walking down a quiet neighborhood street at night. The air is crisp, the streetlights are humming softly, and the sound of leaves crunching under your shoes echoes in your ears. But instead of noticing the cool night air or the stars above, your mind is replaying something awkward you said 3 days ago. Or it's skipping ahead to tomorrow's to-do list. You're physically here, but mentally everywhere else. That's the trap of overthinking. It pulls you out of the only place life actually happens, the present. Buddhist teachings remind us, do not dwell in the past, do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. It sounds simple, almost too simple. But the truth is, simplicity is where freedom hides. The past is already behind you, like a movie you've already seen. You can't edit the script, and the future, that's still being written. All your worrying can't guarantee a happy ending. It just spoils the peace you could be enjoying right now. Let's pause here together. Take one slow breath in through your nose. Hold it and let it out through your mouth, longer than the inhale. Notice what just happened. You are here, right now, with your breath. That tiny act pulled you out of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's fears and dropped you directly into this moment. And this moment, this is life. There's an old Zen story of a monk and his young disciple walking beside a river. The monk stepped in without hesitation, wading calmly through the rushing current. But the disciple froze, paralyzed by fear. What if the water sweeps me away? What if I drown? He thought. The monk looked back with a gentle smile and said, the river always flows, but the only way to cross is by being fully present in this step, right now. The boy took a breath, trusted the moment, and crossed. And just like that, the river was behind him. Your mind is like that river, always flowing. You can't stop the current, but you can step into it with trust instead of fear. Every time you catch yourself replaying the past or rehearsing the future, you can remind yourself the only step that matters is the one you're in. Think about your own life. How often do you eat a meal without tasting it because your mind is scrolling through worries? How many sunsets have slipped by unnoticed while you were glued to your phone? Each time we leave the present, we miss what is real. The smell of fresh coffee, the sound of rain tapping the window, the laugh of someone you love. These are the treasures waiting in the now. Here's a simple practice you can try tomorrow. When you wake up, before reaching for your phone, put both feet on the floor and just notice. What do I feel? What do I hear? What is the light like in the room? It may take only 20 seconds, but those 20 seconds can anchor you into a calmer start. And remember this, overthinking is just a thief dressed up as productivity. It tricks you into believing that Thinking more will protect you from pain, but it usually just steals the joy right under your nose. The antidote is presence coming back again and again to what's here. So, the next time your mind drags you back into regret or pushes you into worry, pause, breathe. Remind yourself, this is the moment. This is where life is. Now, here's a thought to carry forward. If learning to live in the present is like finding solid ground, the next step is learning when to stop pushing against the impossible. Because as much as we want control, some things in life just won't move no matter how hard we push. And that, my friend, is where our journey continues. 2. Stop fighting what you can't control. Imagine standing at the bottom of a hill, your hands pressed against a giant boulder. You push with all your strength, sweat dripping down your forehead, muscles shaking, heart pounding. But no matter how hard you strain, the boulder doesn't move. Frustration builds, and soon your mind is caught in the loop of, why isn't this working? What if I never move it? What if I'm too weak? This is the cycle of overthinking, struggling against what cannot be changed, burning yourself out on something that was never meant to be forced. Buddhism teaches that much of our suffering doesn't come from the world itself, but from our attachment to the idea that things should be different. We replay conversations, wishing we had said something else. We hold on to outcomes we can't control. We grip tightly to illusions of certainty, only to feel pain when reality doesn't match our expectations. The Buddha once said, "Suffering is not caused by external events, but by our attachment to them." Think about that. It's not the rain that ruins your day. It's your refusal to accept that the rain was always part of the forecast. There's a quiet strength in letting go. Picture someone standing at the shore, trying to stop the tide with their bare hands. Impossible, right? Yet we do this with life all the time. We fight against traffic when we can't make the cars move faster. We cling to people who choose to walk away. We stay up at night, replaying things we'll never have the power to undo. What if, instead, we loosened our grip and allowed the tide to flow? A Zen monk once told a story of a man who tried endlessly to push a boulder up a hill. Exhausted, he collapsed in tears, convinced he had failed. The monk looked at him kindly and asked, "Why are you pushing something that will never move? Let go, and the path will clear." And in that moment, the man stepped aside, and he realized the road around the boulder was wide open. The obstacle had never been the boulder. It was his own refusal to release control. Take a deep breath here. In through the nose, hold, and slowly out through the mouth. Ask yourself this simple question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, then your work is not to push harder. It's to let go. That letting go is not weakness, it is freedom. It's the freedom to redirect your energy toward what truly matters. Here's a practice you can try the next time you feel trapped in overthinking. Write down everything that's worrying you. Then draw 2 columns. Label one in my control and the other out of my control. Be brutally honest. The way someone else feels about you, out of your control. How you choose to show up in kindness, in your control. The weather tomorrow, out of your control. Whether you carry an umbrella, in your control. As the page fills, you'll notice most of what spins in your head belongs in the second column. And once you see it, you can make a choice. Release it like setting down a heavy backpack you've carried for far too long. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which teaching so far has spoken to you the most? Being present or learning to let go? Drop it in the comments, because your reflections not only help you but also inspire others who might be walking the same path. Letting go doesn't mean we stop caring. It doesn't mean we sit idle. It means we stop wasting our spirit on things that can never bend to our will. It's the difference between trying to stop the rain from falling and simply opening an umbrella. Life will always bring storms. The question is whether you exhaust yourself shouting at the sky or whether you dance barefoot in the puddles. So the next time you find yourself wrestling with a boulder that refuses to move, remember the lesson. Step aside, breathe, and look for the path that was there all along. Sometimes peace isn't found in winning the battle, it's found in putting down your sword. And as we continue this journey, there's another step waiting for us. Once we release the things we cannot control, we begin to see how much of our suffering is created by the sheer complexity we pile onto our lives. What if the answer wasn't more effort, but less? What if the secret to peace was hidden in simplicity? That's where we're headed next. 3. Simplicity is the key to happiness. Think about the last time you opened your phone and scrolled for just a few minutes. Suddenly, an hour had disappeared. Notifications, ads, endless choices. Our modern lives are drowning in noise. It's no wonder our minds feel tangled, cluttered, and restless. We pile on commitments, compare ourselves to others, and convince ourselves that happiness lies in achieving just one more thing. Yet the more we add, the heavier we feel. The truth is, overthinking thrives in complexity, and that's why Buddhism whispers to us a timeless reminder. Simplicity is the key to peace. The Buddha once said, "There is no path to happiness. Happiness is the path." At first glance, that sounds like a riddle. But look closer. It means that joy isn't found by chasing more, by adding layers, or by controlling every outcome. Joy is already here, hidden in the simple act of breathing, in noticing the warmth of sunlight, in laughing with someone you love. Overthinking tells us we need to keep chasing. Simplicity reminds us we already have enough. There's a Japanese word, shibumi, that Zen monks often use. It means the beauty of simplicity, elegance without excess. Imagine walking into a room with just one candle burning and the faint scent of tea in the air. No clutter, no chaos. In that space, the mind softens and suddenly the smallest details become profound. Contrast that with a noisy living room with screens flashing, devices buzzing, and laundry piled in the corner. Which space feels like it would hold your thoughts gently? Simplicity creates the conditions where peace can breathe. Here's a little exercise you can try. Look around the room you're in right now. Find one thing you don't need. An old paper, a forgotten trinket, maybe an app on your phone, and let it go. Notice the small relief that comes with that release. The same applies to your thoughts. How many of them are just mental clutter, like digital junk you've been carrying for years? The belief that you're not enough, the fear that you'll fail before you even try. These are like extra tabs open in your brain, slowing everything down. Close them. Keep only what matters. A Zen master once told his students, "The simpler the life, the more profound the meaning." That doesn't mean living without challenges or responsibilities. It means approaching life with less attachment to the unnecessary. You don't need 20 steps to find calm. Sometimes it's as simple as stepping outside, breathing deeply, and feeling the wind on your face. Take a moment here. Breathe in slowly through your nose. Hold. Then breathe out through your mouth, longer than you inhaled. As you do, let one worry drop away. You don't need to fix everything tonight. You don't need all the answers. Simplicity asks only this: be here, with this breath, with this moment. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, what's one small thing you could simplify in your life this week? Maybe it's your morning routine, maybe it's letting go of an unnecessary task, or maybe it's clearing a space on your desk. Your reflection might be exactly what someone else needs to read. Happiness doesn't demand grand achievements. It often lives in the small, quiet moments we overlook. The taste of warm coffee on a cold morning, the sound of rain on the window, the smile of a stranger passing by. These are gifts that arrive without asking. All we have to do is notice them. So the next time your mind spins with 1,000 what-ifs, remember this. Life isn't asking you to carry so much. Set down the weight. Choose less. Choose peace. And as we move forward, there's another truth waiting for us. Even when we simplify our surroundings, the storm inside our heads can still feel overwhelming. Thoughts swirl, crash, and refuse to leave us alone. But what if you realized that you are not your thoughts? What if they were only passing visitors, drifting through the sky of your mind? That's the doorway we'll open next. For you are not your thoughts. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the sky on a summer afternoon. Clouds drift by. Some are soft and white, others are heavy and dark, but none of them stay. They pass, they change, they dissolve. Now, picture your thoughts the same way. Some are light and pleasant, others stormy and frightening, but none of them define the sky itself. The sky remains vast, open, untouched, and so do you. One of the biggest traps of overthinking is believing that every thought is who you are. You think, I'm anxious, so I must be weak. I'm angry, so I must be unkind. I failed once, so I must always fail. But Buddhism teaches us something radical. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, the space in which they arise and fade. Thoughts are temporary visitors. You are the home they pass through. The Buddha once said, "With our thoughts, we make the world." That doesn't mean every thought is true. It means the thoughts we choose to cling to shape the way we experience reality. Imagine walking beside a calm river. Leaves float by on the surface. Do you reach out and grab each one, trying to control its path? Of course not. You let them drift. Your thoughts are like those leaves. They appear, they move, and if you let them go, the river keeps flowing in peace. Overthinking happens when we try to grab every leaf. We chase down each what if or should have until our minds are so crowded we can't breathe. But you don't have to catch every leaf. You don't have to identify with every cloud. You can notice them, nod politely, and let them pass. Here's a practice you can try tonight, especially if your mind races before bed. Lie down, close your eyes, and when a thought comes, label it gently. Worry, memory, plan. Don't fight it, don't judge it. Just notice, name it, and let it drift. Soon you'll find that the thoughts lose their grip. They become lighter, less convincing, like clouds dissolving under sunlight. Take a breath with me now. Inhale slowly. Hold. Exhale gently. Notice that the breath is real, solid, here. The thought in your head about tomorrow's meeting? That's just a passing visitor. The breath is your anchor. You are the awareness, watching both. And here's where I'd love to hear from you. In the comments, share one thought that tends to visit you over and over again. Just writing it down might help loosen its grip, and your honesty could give someone else the courage to face their own thoughts with kindness. Remember, thoughts are not permanent. They don't define your worth. You are the sky. Thoughts are the clouds. Some days the sky is full of storms, other days it's clear and bright, but the sky itself is never broken. When you stop clinging to each passing cloud, you start to experience the vastness of who you really are, calm, open, unshaken. So the next time a storm of thoughts tries to convince you that you are stuck or lost, pause. Breathe. Remind yourself, I am not my thoughts. I am the awareness that watches them drift. And as we carry this truth forward, there is another step that deepens the calm. Once we see thoughts as passing clouds, we can learn to anchor ourselves in something steady, something always with us. The breath. The next teaching will show how mindfulness and breathing can pull us out of the storm and return us to stillness. That is where we'll go next. 5. Practice mindfulness. Anchor in your breath. The world moves fast. Deadlines, buzzing phones, notifications popping up like fireworks. Our minds rarely get a chance to rest. Thoughts skip from one worry to another until it feels like you're on a treadmill that never slows down. That constant motion is exhausting. But what if I told you there's a pause button, always available, hidden in the most ordinary thing you do every moment of your life? It's your breath. Mindfulness isn't about forcing your mind to be blank or pretending that worries don't exist. It's about being fully present, awake to what's happening right now, without judgment. The Buddha once said, "When the mind is calm, the breath is calm." Think about that. Your breath and your mind are partners. When one is racing, so does the other. But when you anchor your attention on breathing, you invite stillness to return. Take a slow inhale with me now. Hold it gently and release slower than you inhaled. Feel how the air enters and leaves. That's all mindfulness requires. Attention to this moment. Each breath is a doorway out of the maze of overthinking. Here's something you can try when anxiety spikes. Set a timer for just 2 minutes. Sit comfortably, close your eyes, and focus only on your inhale and exhale. Count them if it helps. When your thoughts wander, and they will notice it kindly and come back to the breath. That simple return is the practice. Not perfection, not silence, but returning. Each time you come back, it's like a muscle growing stronger. Imagine your thoughts as leaves floating on a river. If you try to grab them all, the water becomes chaotic. But if you stay focused on the current itself, the flow of your breath, the leaves pass peacefully. The river keeps moving, and so does your mind, without the struggle. I want to invite you to share this in the comments. The next time you try this breathing exercise, how many breaths did you manage to follow before your mind wandered? Be honest. There's no right number. Just noticing is progress, and your story may encourage someone else to try. The beauty of mindfulness is that it doesn't require special equipment, a meditation cushion, or hours of silence. You can practice while standing in line at the grocery store, while driving to work, or even while sipping your morning coffee. Each mindful breath is like a reset button, clearing the fog and pulling you back into the present. And here's the secret. Over time, the breath becomes more than a practice. It becomes a safe harbor. When life feels too heavy, when your mind feels too loud, you can always come back to this steady rhythm. It's been with you since the day you were born, and it will carry you until the end. So the next time you're overwhelmed, don't fight your thoughts or try to silence them. Instead, anchor yourself in the breath. Each inhale, each exhale, reminding you that peace is never far away. It's already here, waiting beneath the noise. And as we keep walking together, there's another teaching that deepens this freedom. Because even with mindfulness, even with calm breaths, struggles still come. But Buddhism offers one last truth that changes how we see those struggles. They don't last forever. Nothing does. The next step is learning to trust impermanence, and that's where our journey is heading next. 6. Trust in impermanence. Think about the hardest day you've ever had. Maybe it was a breakup, the loss of a job, or a night when you lay awake staring at the ceiling, convinced the pain would never end. At that moment, it felt permanent, heavy, unshakable. And yet here you are. That storm passed. The truth at the heart of Buddhist teaching is this: nothing in life lasts forever. Not joy, not sorrow, not even the restless cycle of overthinking that keeps you awake at night. Everything is in motion. Everything changes. The Buddha once said, "All conditioned things are impermanent." Strive on with diligence, and it sounds almost stern, but hidden inside is hope. If everything changes, then your struggles are not eternal. The pain you feel today will shift. The thoughts that won't leave you alone will soften. The weight on your shoulders will eventually lift. The key is to trust this impermanence, to stop clinging to the idea that life must stay exactly as it is right now. Imagine holding ice in your hand. At first it feels solid, sharp, maybe even painful. But no matter what you do, you can't stop it from melting. That's the nature of ice, it transforms. The same is true for the moments in your life. Try as we might to hold on, life keeps moving, reshaping itself, offering us new experiences. Overthinking tries to convince you that your pain is permanent, but impermanence whispers back, this too will pass. When you find yourself stuck in anxious loops, repeat this gently to yourself. Nothing lasts forever. Each time you say it, notice the subtle release in your chest, the loosening of tension. You're not lying to yourself. You're speaking a truth as old as time. Take a breath with me here. Inhale deeply, hold, and let it out slowly. Feel the breath dissolve into the air, gone in an instant, making space for the next one. Even your breath is proof of impermanence. No inhale stays, no exhale remains. Yet the rhythm continues, life unfolding one moment at a time. Here's a practice you might try this week. When something difficult arises, a stressful meeting, an uncomfortable emotion, a restless night pause, and imagine it as a passing cloud. Watch it drift across the sky of your mind. Remind yourself that the cloud will not linger forever. This simple shift can soften the edges of suffering and give you patience as the storm passes. And now, I'd like to hear from you. In the comments, share one challenge you've faced that eventually passed, even if at the time it felt endless. Your story might be the reminder someone else needs tonight, that no matter how dark the sky, the sun always returns. Trusting in impermanence doesn't mean ignoring pain or pretending everything is fine. It means holding life with open hands, knowing that joy and sorrow both come and go. It means allowing yourself to ride the waves instead of fighting against the tide. The ocean is never still, but when you stop resisting, you find you can float. So the next time your mind insists that things will never change, smile gently and remind yourself they always do. Impermanence is not the enemy. It's the promise that life keeps moving, and so will you. And as we bring these 6 teachings together, presence, letting go, simplicity, detaching from thoughts, mindfulness, and impermanence, we arrive at a deeper truth. These aren't just abstract ideas. They are tools you can carry every day, guiding you back to peace when overthinking tries to take control. But what happens when we weave them together into a way of living, not just a list of lessons? That is the journey waiting for us in the next step. You've walked with me through a quiet path tonight, exploring 6 timeless Buddhist teachings designed to loosen the grip of overthinking and guide you gently back to peace. We've stepped into the present moment, learning to stop carrying the weight of the past and the fear of the future. We've discovered the freedom in letting go of what cannot be controlled, and the lightness that comes with choosing simplicity. We've seen that our thoughts are not who we are, that they drift like clouds across the vast sky of the mind. We've practiced anchoring ourselves in the steady rhythm of the breath, and finally, we've remembered that nothing lasts forever. Not joy, not pain, not even restless nights. Everything moves, everything passes, everything transforms. Take a moment now to feel where you are. The ground beneath you, the air around you, the breath flowing in and out. This is your anchor. You don't need to solve everything tonight. You don't need to carry the entire world in your head. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to be. If you found comfort here, I invite you to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you'll know when the next story arrives. Share this with a friend who might need a gentle reminder that peace is possible. And as always, leave a comment with what resonated with you most. It might be the exact words someone else is searching for. Now, as the night deepens, let your thoughts soften like waves rolling back into the ocean. Let your body grow heavier, safe in the knowledge that tomorrow will come, and when it does, you will meet it with a steadier heart. The next journey will take us even deeper into mindfulness, How small intentional practices can reshape the way you move through your days and bring even more clarity to your nights. But for now, let that thought drift into the distance. The story grows quieter here. Each word stretches longer, slower. Like a whisper fading into the dark, the images dissolve, rivers, clouds, breath, the gentle flow of time all blending into stillness. Rest now. Rest in knowing you are not your thoughts. Rest in knowing nothing is permanent. Rest in knowing peace is already here. End of script. Sweet dreams.